1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I am your host, DJ Maverick. Today, we have the one and only Skai Hye in the building.
Hey.
Welcome to the pod. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. For the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Skai Hye. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I am a rapper. I'm an actress. I am a model. I do all of the performing arts things.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Born and raised in OKC, you were telling me, right?
Born and raised, sooner born, sooner bred. I like to say that because
Yeah,
it's
repping
real.
the 405.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
all the time.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about growing up in OKC. What kind of stuff were you into?
Yeah, growing up, I was always like a big music head. My parents are both really big music heads, so
Okay.
I always had like a wide variety of music I was listening to.
Like what kind of stuff were they into?
Oh my gosh, like my dad is probably the biggest influence because he has everything from like rap to like rock to country. You're gonna hear a little bit of everything.
Oh,
And
that's
so now
awesome.
that's me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so everything, listening to everything. So then once I started getting older, I'm like, okay, I like doing this. And I really got into poetry.
Okay.
And then I met friends who were doing music, and so it kind of translated into music. And
I see. At like what age did the poetry sort of happen?
that was around, I'd say like between the ages of like 8 and like 14, I was really, really into poetry.
Okay, cool.
And then, yeah.
And nobody in your family ever like did anything musical? Like were they in bands or anything? or-
So that's the crazy thing. So my mom actually did have a record label.
Oh, really?
When she was, yes,
Tell
she
me
actually
about that.
did. She's told me some. She had a record label here. It was a few years, well, not a few years ago. It was some years
Yeah,
ago. But
Yeah.
yeah. And so like I just always thought that was really inspirational because she did what I wanted to do before
Yeah.
I even knew that was what I wanted to do.
But did you know that at a younger age, or you just kind of found out recently, or what?
I found out when I started getting into music. And so that was
Okay.
around like 13, 14 when I was really starting to be like, this is something I want to do. And then that's when my mom kind of started to like share stories with me and tell me about things. And I'm like, you never told me this. Like,
What's up with that, right?
Yeah.
I like that. So reading your notes, it sounded like they were super supportive, right? So once they found out you were into music, they supported you along the way. So tell me some of the things that they did to support your interest in music.
Man, one thing about it, I could never say that my family did not support me. Like,
Yeah.
from driving me, because my friends all lived out in Spencer. We lived in Edmond. So from driving me out there, you know, on the weekends or weekdays to go record or going to shows. There were like times we would do like a weeknight show at midnight, but they were there like
That's awesome.
supporting, yeah, my little siblings, like everybody, they've just always been there. And then even to this day, video shoots, they're there. Like they're the ones that's behind the scenes, putting sets together, like
Day
making sure I
one.
need anything. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I could not do it without them.
That's great to hear, because sometimes there's pressure from the parents like, hey, that's cool, you're into music or whatever, but you got to go to college, or you got to go,
Right.
you got to have a plan B sort of thing,
Right.
right? But it sounds like they were like, okay, this is what you want to do. We got your back. Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much. They definitely the plan B. They didn't
Yeah.
just let me slide on the plan B,
Okay.
but yes, they've always been 100% down.
Yeah. So how do we go from poetry to all of a sudden, tell me what that first song, or were you featured first, or how did that go down?
So, how did this happen? So, yes, poetry, I was really into it. You know, I was going through my little emo phase. You know, everybody go through the emo phase.
Yeah.
So, I was going through
Were you
like,
into the emo music too, or
Oh,
what?
yes,
Yeah?
like,
My
yes.
Chemical Romance or
My
something?
Chemical Romance,
Yeah.
Suicide Silence,
Yeah.
like, all of it. Paramore,
awesome.
like, I was knee deep in it. And so poetry was just really a good way for me to have that outlet. And then, I ended up getting together with a friend. Her name is Victoria. Shout out to
Shout
girl.
out.
Yes. And she was a singer. And that's whenever I was like, you know, we could do something with this, because my mom raised me on Flowetry. That was one of the really big groups I was raised on. So
Okay.
I was like, we could do this. So then we started playing around with it. And then we found out that our friends in school had a group called Exclusive Nightmare, and they rapped. And so it started like a little competition. We were like, oh, who's going to pop first? Who? So it'd be like, oh, we went to the studio this weekend. Okay, well, we wrote a new song. Like, it was always a little thing. And then we were like, you know what? Let's just join forces and let's just make this a thing.
Okay. And that was like high school age or middle school age?
That was middle school.
Middle school. Okay. And then did you start entering like talent shows or anything like that?
Every talent show, any kind of performance type of thing, we were in there.
Yeah.
Like every single one. But yeah, so talent shows, and then like we would have friends have birthday parties, and they would be like, come perform at our birthday party, and like just things like that. So we got all that experience really young, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you got your first like live performance experience with the group, or did you do the live performance as a solo artist?
No, my first live performance was with the group.
Okay.
So I did that I was in the group for almost 10 years. We were in that group.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
Did any of them sort of end up doing solo careers as well, or just you?
Yeah. So now Frequency Wave, he still does all of his music. He's doing stuff. Trey 2K, who was a part of the group, he doesn't, but he's focused more on like videography and things, which he was doing when we were in the group. So it's really cool to see him go into that like branch with photography and videography.
Okay.
Lex the Great, he did pass. So Teardrops, that's my brother. I love my brother. And then Bobby Revenue, that's still my producer to this day.
Oh, wow.
So
That's cool.
He's still in there. So yeah.
Okay. And we were talking a little bit off camera about influences and who you sort of like. We're talking about, of course, Nipsey, right? We both like Nipsey.
Growing up, I had so many influences because my parents were really like, I wouldn't say old school, but they just listened to more 90s, more early 2000s. So they were really like Ludacris. Like I would sneak in there and steal their Ludacris CDs and like their like Busta Rhymes CDs and things like that.
Of course, probably some Tupac or something.
Oh yes, like
right?
all exactly
Biggie,
like right. They were all into like Missy Elliott was really big.
Yeah.
So like I had all of those. Lauryn Hill. How could I not say Lauryn Hill? Like so I had all of those influences on that side. And then when I started going to school, I'm like, hold on, who's Lil Wayne? Hold on, who's 50 Cent?
Yeah.
Like, and so then I started getting into that and figuring out, okay. And so it was just kind of like they both came together.
You know, people always compare like, oh, you sound like so-and-so, right? Like, do you sort of see that as a compliment, or do you sort of say like, hey, I want to do my own, I want to be in my own lane sort of thing? What do you think when people try to compare you?
Yeah, I take it both ways. Like, I think it's really dope. Like, if you could compare me to a great artist, then that's a compliment for sure. But I definitely want to make my own footprint. I want to, leave my own mark on the game. So it's like it's a both thing, but.
Yeah. And I think, being sort of a lady in hip hop and rap, sometimes you get compared to them just by default, right?
Yes.
You get a lot of that.
Huge thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
I know, right? But on the same token, I think that right now hip hop is sort of being led by the ladies. Like,
it is.
Like Megan,
It
the City
is.
Girls, like everybody's kind of like killing it in hip hop right now.
Right.
On
And
the
I
ladies'
love
side,
it.
right?
I love it. I love it. I love to see us all like really out there and doing it. And it's more than one. Like I feel like for a long time it's like one or like maybe two, maybe three, but we just have a plethora right now. So it's amazing.
Definitely. What was like probably one of your biggest struggles, you think, sort of being your own and, leaving the group and starting your own thing? What's one of the struggles that you had to go through?
And there were quite a few struggles because I had to relearn myself. Like when you're in a group for so long, you're just kind of used to that identity.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out, who am I going to be as an artist? Like I know who I am in this dynamic, but how do I take that little piece of the dynamic and turn it into a whole, a whole piece of the like puzzle or whatever. So
1000%.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Sky Season. That's kind of like your first like solo project, right?
That was my very first solo project. That was a crazy process. Like making that, it was nights and days and days and nights and very late nights and very early mornings doing that. Hospital trips and it was all kinds of
Hospital trips, how so? What happened?
Well, that project was completely produced by Bobby Revenue. That project was completely mixed and mastered by Bobby Revenue and by Frequency Wave. Like we basically did everything in-house. So during the mixing and mastering process, Frequency had a seizure.
Oh, wow.
It was because we were just up. It was constant.
Like while you were working on the project, he had a seizure.
It was yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that project, I mean, but it was such a great moment in time for us, though.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that was 2017. Does that sound about right? Okay, so tell me what 2017. Where are you as an artist? You had just broken up with the group, or you had already been solo for a while, and then you decided to work on this project, or what was going down in 2017?
So in 2017, we were really trying to figure out where we were going as a group. We had a lot of everybody goes through life, and there was a lot of internal things. I had went to college, and then I dropped out of college, and so it was really just trying to figure out where are we now.
Yeah.
And I started working on the project. It was really just for fun. Like I heard a beat I liked, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna write to this. I heard another beat I liked, and I was like, oh, I'll write to this. And then it just became a project.
I see.
And so, yeah, it just kind of turned into a whole thing. And then we were like, you know what? This is pretty solid right here. Like, we could do something with that.
Yeah. Tell me about your creative process. So you're talking about hearing a beat and then writing lyrics to it. Is that usually how you prefer to do things? Or do you keep a notebook and when you get inspired, you just write on the fly and then look for a beat?
Both. All of the above. Like,
yeah.
Typically, when I hear a beat, like anybody who's worked with me, any producer who's worked with me will tell you I'm very, very particular about my beats and what they sound like. And I'm very quick to be like, okay, but can we change that drum pattern, or can we fix, or can we do? Because I'm very particular.
Okay.
But once I zone in on a beat, the lyrics just like come to me. Like it's like, I don't even know. It just comes.
So you're listening to the beat and you're like, okay, drop the drums here. I want to like change my flow or something. So,
exactly. Like, oh, can we do this? Or I'll be like, let's do a beat switch up, or let's do something different. Like I love being on that side of the production. It's really fun. And like you get to kind of really make it exactly what you want it to be.
That's really cool that you're that hands-on, because in that way you can sort of control the whole creative process. Even if you're not the producer of the beat, you can make those changes along the way to like highlight a certain section, or when you're going to change your flow or whatever.
Exactly. And I think it makes it better, because then you get to hear the full idea, your full concept, versus just, these are my lyrics and that's their beat. No, now we've made it together, like, and it flows and it's cohesive, and it's a great experience.
Tell me what it's like to be an artist in Oklahoma. A lot of people might say Oklahoma, hip hop in Oklahoma. What's up with that? So tell me about that. Growing a fan base, getting people to, believe in what you're doing. Tell me about that.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy. It is definitely a process, but I think I've learned over the past few years to really enjoy it. I think when I was younger, it was always kind of like dang, I wish I was somewhere else. I wish, this, or I wish that.
Everybody's always, I got to go East Coast, I got to go West Coast if I want to make it, right?
Exactly. Like, I got to get out of here. And then I just really had to start looking at what can I do? And then I started to realize this is actually like a perfect market to be in, because there's not really too many artists that are just really making big buzz. That means you have all of the opportunities, and the lane is completely open to do and be whoever you want to be. Yeah. So it was bittersweet, because in the beginning it was like, ugh. And even now it's still stressful. I mean, there's a lot of different struggles and different, hardships that you have to go through just trying to get to people, or trying to, find the industry here. Like it can be difficult finding the right people and getting in touch with the right people. But
I like the way you're thinking, though. You're thinking, hey, it's not saturated, so that way if I put my city on, they're going to have my back, right?
Exactly.
So I love that thinking. What about performing, getting performance gigs around here? Do you find yourself you have to travel a lot to be able to perform, or you think there's enough live music venues here in Oklahoma now that you can sort of like, keep busy around the state?
There's definitely a ton of venues here. I think the main thing is just knowing the right people. It can be kind of tricky, because a lot of the shows, you really just kind of have to know the right people. But there's a ton of venues here. I haven't actually performed too much out of the state. I will this year. I'm starting that this year, but
Awesome.
there's tons of places here if you just know the right people and you know where to go.
Yeah, and like Nipsey says, just keep grinding, right? Grinding.
Exactly.
grinding.
That one right there.
Yeah, cool. Tell me why Sky High? Where did that come from? And why do you spell it the way you do? Tell me the story behind Sky
The
High.
whole story.
Yeah.
The process of coming up with my name is crazy because that's actually the name that I've had my entire rap career.
Oh,
so
really?
since I was like 12. Yeah.
You're lucky because most people are like, oh, I had this embarrassing name when I started, and all of a sudden I changed it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was like, maybe I should change it. And I never have because I just feel like it means a lot to me. And it grows in meaning the older I get and the more I go through. But originally it was just kind of like a smart remark, like, because everybody's like, oh, sky is the limit. So if I'm Sky High, then nobody can be over me, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
But then, it just kind of evolves in meaning. And it's just, for me now, it's very, it kind of just keeps me centered and keeps me grounded. And it's like, even though I am Sky High, it's just always kind of like I don't know how to explain it.
And it's unique, right? It's unique, and it's sort of like, people are going to remember it, right? Sky High, like Sky High, both those put together, it's like unique. They're going to remember you. So,
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Tell me about the first time you performed live in front of a audience. How many people were there? How did it go? Were you like super nervous? Tell me how it went down.
Solo or in the group?
Let's do solo.
Solo. Okay, so let's see. My first performance solo, it was, I believe it was at Sessions Hookah Lounge, and it was around the time whenever I was just dropped Sky Season, so I was kind of getting the promotion for that, and I had like a few friends come out. There was some people there, but it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday night, so it wasn't like super packed or anything. But they all loved me. Like, it was a very welcoming crowd, and they were very supportive. So that like helped. But I mean, like, there really wasn't nobody there.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool though. It was still like, I think you need those experiences though too.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you're probably one of the believers that whether it's like 1 or 1 million in the crowd, you're going to rock it either way,
yes.
regardless of how many is out there, right?
Yep. Because, I mean, you just never know when it's the right one.
Yeah.
Like, it could be that one person that's the person that could get you to that next level. You just never know.
Yeah. What would you say is sort of your favorite, like, song you've done so far? We were talking about I'm the One. We were talking about Finito, all the stuff. I was listening to your stuff, on the way to the podcast.
Yeah.
And some of it's like, it gets you in a good mood, like off the bat, like the beat and then your flow. Like, I really enjoyed it. So I'm curious what your favorite track is.
So hard.
It's like having to pick your favorite baby or something, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like. Oh, man. I think one of my favorite songs that I have is Finito. I think it's just such a dope vibe. And everybody that hears it loves it. And I think it's just such a just genuinely dope vibe that anyone can grasp onto it and mesh with it. Guys can, girls can. Like, you could be, the most gangster, or you could be like, just whatever. Like, everybody that's heard it is like, I love that song. And it's just, I don't know. It's
it
such
definitely
a dope
resonates
vibe.
when you hear it. You're like, okay, I
Right.
can identify whether,
Exactly.
I'm about to like go play a basketball game or go into the board meeting or go into whatever you're about to do.
Exactly.
It like pumps you up, right?
Right. And that was my goal. Like, that's really my goal with music. It's like, I want to inspire. Like, that's my biggest goal with this. So it's like, that song is just, everybody that hears it, they're like, it's just so inspirational. Like, whatever you're going through that day, like you said, you could be going in to go, you know what I'm saying? You're about to go get this promotion.
Right.
You could listen to Finito. If you're about to go, play a game, you could listen to Finito. If you're about to
1,000.
go, whatever's going on, it's a perfect vibe.
Yeah. Tell me about sort of the inspiration behind it at the time in the life when you were doing that. Was it just about like, sort of like believing in yourself and saying, I'm going to like go for this, this dream of mine? Or what was the inspiration behind Finito?
Man, so Finito, that beat was given to me by a very good friend of mine who had it, and he was like, what you think you could do with this? And I was like, I got you. And And so from there, cause shout out to Lotto, cause you did, yeah, he hooked that beat up. And from there, it really was just me trying to prove something, I think, to myself, but also to my fans. At that time, I really didn't have any music out outside of that project, which was 2017. After that project, our group, we continued on, but then in 2018 was really when we kind of like officially kind of broke up. So I was like, okay. And I went on pretty much a hiatus. I didn't make any music for a whole year. Just kind of, I like went through a depression phase where I was like, dang, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I can do this. And so then I came back, and this was the first real song that I had. I had like put out a couple freestyle type of songs, but this was like me like, no, I'm back. I'm here. This is it. Let's go. Cool. It was go time.
That's cool. Yeah, because out the gate, you come in there and like you're taking over. So I could definitely see how that song has sort of stuck around and it resonates with everybody. So congratulations on that track. I really like it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
One of the things I always ask the guests on the podcast, if I were to pull up your playlist, who am I going to find on your playlist?
Ooh, well, definitely Nipsey. That's a fact. That's a fact. I love Gucci Mane. I love 2 Chainz. I love Big Sean. J. Cole, Kendrick, Nicki, of course, Nicki, but Cardi and Megan and Lotto and all of them as well. I mean, you're going to find everybody. And then you're going to find, like, Prince. You're going to find, like...
Okay, I was waiting for that. I was like, all right, when the parents' influence is going to come in?
Like, Prince is, like, a heavenly figure in my household. So, it's, like, Prince for sure. You're going to find... And then you'll find, like bands. You're gonna find I tell people all the time, I have one song of every genre in my playlist. No exaggeration. You're gonna, like, if you're in the car with me, you're gonna hear some electronics, some EDM. You're gonna hear some pop. Then it might go to like bluegrass, country, but then it might turn around and go to opera or classical or something like that. Like, you're gonna hear everything.
Did the emo stick around?
You're still gonna find some emo? Of course, yes.
All right.
Oh, can't get rid of that. Can't get rid of that.
Cool. Tell me about your sort of process in making music videos, because one of the things when I was doing my research for being on the podcast, I saw that you're really big into music videos and you put in a lot of work, and you can always tell, like, when somebody takes it serious, you can tell off the bat.
Yes.
So tell me about that process.
Music videos are one of my favorite things to do. And shout out to Taylor Made J, who is my manager, but we started off just doing music videos together. And it was always a goal of mine. Just when I was younger, I would watch these artists make these creative and amazing music videos, and I'd just be like, I want to do that one day.
Yeah, you were talking about Busta Rhymes.
Exactly.
Have you seen his videos? It's like a whole motion picture.
Exactly,
right?
But you see what I'm saying? Missy Elliott,
right?
Exactly. Like all of these people, and I had all of those influences. So it's like I was just always enamored by that. Okay. And then once I got to Finito, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Like, I always would tell myself, when I get big, I'm going to do that. When I get big, then it was like, why wait? Like, because it's not even promised. You know what I mean? So if I was to die tomorrow, I want to die knowing that I did that. Yeah. So I just started putting my all into that. And so it's like, we will sit down, I'm creating, storyboards. I'm writing scripts if a script is needed, or writing out the storylines. Like, for instance, Make Me Sick. That's like, it started off with just kind of like a general, I want to rob something. And then it was like, okay, so what do we rob and how do we do it? And then it was like, no, let's make this bigger. Let's like turn it into a whole like James Bond, Mission Impossible type of thing.
So you're coming up with the whole concept on your own and writing maybe even some of the shots that you want to do and stuff?
Yes, all of it. Yes. Tailor-made, like we do. We're very collaborative in it. But yes, like I'm sitting down, I'm writing out, okay, we, enter in here and, camera pans this and whatever. And then I get with him and then we kind of see, okay, what could we do? And then he'll have ideas. Like, I think it would be dope if you did this. Like, it Make Me Sick. The scene where I'm dropping down from the ceiling, that was him. I didn't think that was possible. He was like, no, we can make it happen. I didn't know, but it came out so dope. So it's like very collaborative process. And then once we get to that point, then it's like, okay, then we start building. So like, the everything in Make Me Sick was built. Either it was built by myself or by him or by my family. They were on set helping us build things. So it's like, it's a process, but it's so much fun. It's like really making a movie.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, once again, you're super hands-on. So that's really cool that you control all your art in every different medium, right? Like the videos, the beat, your lyrics. So tell me, with that being said, you're so hands-on. Would you prefer to be just independent, or do you want to be on a label, or are you already on a label? Like, what do you think your path is there?
Yeah, so I am independent. I'm independent.
All right. If anybody's looking, don't sleep on Skai Hye for sure.
Don't sleep, because I'm not signed. I think right now my main goal is to stay independent. I am not opposed to signing, but I do have my criteria for signing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the right if we get the right contract set up and everything, then I definitely, I might sign to somebody.
Yeah,
maybe.
you always hear about the people that signed the wrong deal, right? It's a 360 deal, and all of a sudden the label gets their merchandise, they get their music, they get everything, right?
Right.
So I would say definitely check out the deal before you,
Definitely.
they're like, hey, here's this bag, sign here. Don't pay attention to the fine print.
Don't
right?
worry about that. Just sign right there. Yeah. No, that's something that's very, very important to me, though. Like, I do a lot of research when it comes to the music industry and everything, like from the record labels and how they work and how does marketing work and how do all of these things work, and can I do it on my own or do I have to be with a label, and all of those things. Like, it's very important to me to know these things so that when I'm in that situation, I can make the best decision for myself at that time. I can't rely on,
And that's one of the beautiful things about the time that we live in right now is like, you don't really need a label, right?
Yes.
Like, social media is out there. You can publish to all the streaming services on your own. Like, you no longer have to depend on somebody saying, okay, yeah, you're good enough, let's put you on. You can put yourself on.
Right. And but it's cool. It's so great though. Like, I love it because, like you said, you're really almost in control of your own career. Like, you look at people like Glorilla. I mean, the beginning of last year, nobody knew
super fast,
who she was.
Right?
Yeah. So it's like, she went from nobody really knowing who she was to being nominated for a Grammy. Like, so that just shows you, like, anything is possible in this time.
Yeah, definitely. But the reverse side of that coin is you do see a lot of people that blow up and they don't know what to do. And all of a sudden they're like gone, right?
Yeah, so that's very true too.
That happens too.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. Do you manage all your social media? Like, I know that you stay super active on social media. You do all that on your own?
I do.
Tell me about that, because that's almost like a job in itself. A lot of people don't know.
Man.
I mean, the amount of work, editing and publishing and scheduling stuff, and even like interacting, engaging with people. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's definitely time management. Like, if nothing else, this is a time management challenge because
there's not enough hours in the day, right?
There's not enough hours. It's not. But I mean, I like it though. Like, I like to interact with my fans. I like whenever they, leave comments or they let me know what they're thinking or, things like that. Like, it's nice to see that people really do like what I'm doing and they really do support me and everything. And so, like, when, even if something is shared 100 times on Facebook, I'm going to each one of those shares and I'm going to comment, thank you.
That's awesome.
Just because they didn't have to. And,
especially nowadays when people's attention span is like super quick, right? You think about TikTok, they don't get you in the first 1 second, 2 seconds.
Done.
Like, next.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's tough. There's a lot of competition, a lot of noise, but what are some of the things besides, engaging with your fans and everybody? What are some of the things that you're doing to set yourself apart from everybody else?
Definitely like music, lyricality. Lyricality is really, really important and big to me just because like I was saying, my influences, you got talking Busta Rhymes and Ludacris and like people like
There's
this
gotta
that
be
are
some
extremely,
substance,
Busta and like people like that. So it's very important to me, like what I'm saying makes sense and it's cohesive and we're not just getting on a track and just saying whatever because that's what's trending right now or, whatever the case may be. Like, it's gonna mean something. Even if it's a hype club song, it's gonna mean something. There's gonna be, a theme, and there's gonna be like all of those things. So like that's very important. Videos, like I try to really, really put my all into that, because I think that's like you were saying, we're in a social media age. If you don't catch their attention, you're done.
Yeah, it's like that.
So so like visually, anything you can do to capture attention, do it. Like, so videos is another thing I really try to like set myself apart on.
Okay.
And then just in general, like I think it's crazy because when I meet people, they're like, "You're so nice," and I'm like, "Are other
Like,
people
what were you
not
expecting?
nice?"
Well, I think with hip hop, it's sort of like the stigma behind it is
And
that
maybe
you're gonna
that's
be
true.
like too gangster or
Yeah,
something,
or
right?
like too whatever.
Like
yeah,
you think like you're Kanye, who loves more Kanye than
Yeah.
Kanye, right? Like,
facts,
yeah.
you're right.
So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think it also comes across that you're super genuine. So keep that
Thank
up
you.
for sure.
For
right?
sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Tell me
you.
about your projects that you're working on. You said you're about to drop a new song
Yes.
and a new video. And I don't know how much you can share. It's coming up here pretty soon, right?
It is. So January 30th, y'all make sure to stay tuned. Wait, can I cuss? Because the song has
Oh,
to go.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Talk My Shit is coming out
Okay.
January the 30th. I'm so
Oh,
excited.
so I already know what kind of vibe it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like we're talking
It's a
finito
little-
times like 10,000 or something, huh?
Yeah, it was a really fun song. I just kind of wanted to do something that was just more fun. I think I have a lot planned this year, so I wanted to start it off with something fun. I keep seeing everybody do the mic challenges where like the microphone's hanging and they're like
Yeah.
rapping, so I wanted to do that. So that's kind of the concept. And but of course we had to put our little spice on it. And so that song's coming out January the 30th. Y'all make sure to stay tuned. I'm
Cool.
excited.
And the music video is going to drop for that same song or what?
Yep.
Okay. So both at the same time.
Both at the same time.
Okay. Produced by the same guy that you're working with all the time or
This
no?
one was not produced by Bobby Revenue. This one was actually produced by a producer. His name is Young Dizza.
Okay. Cool. I don't know how much you keep up with the Latin scene, but Shakira sort of did a mic thing too
Did she? I
recently
didn't see.
where she was dissing her ex-husband, right? Because her ex-husband like cheated on her. And she got on a track and she dissed him and like basically said you left a Rolex for a Casio.
Oh.
You left a Ferrari for
No,
this
she didn't.
Tingo. Like she like went at him. So it was,
Okay, I'm
it
gonna have
was
to go look
different.
at this.
Like she's
'cause-
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was
Okay,
pretty
girl.
funny when you're talking about people doing this mic sessions.
Yeah.
Like you can see that even in the Latin culture that's going down there too.
That's
so.
cool though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go check. I'm gonna have to go check
Yeah,
this
you have to
out.
check it out because she's
Yes.
mad. Yeah, and to be fair, the girl that he cheated on, there's no
She
way
wasn't-
she doesn't even worth it. Doesn't
see?
compare. I don't
See?
understand.
What you doing?
Guys,
what
what are you doing?
Come on, do better.
It's like what you said: a Rolex for a Casio.
Right? How you gonna
Yeah.
downgrade?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna put you on the spot too because one of the things I do is I always ask the guests,
What?
tell me a secret, tell me something that most people don't know about you.
Okay. Something that most people don't know about me. So, I was a nationally ranked gymnast growing up. That
No
was
way.
that was something I did from I don't remember the exact years, but I was about 6 to about like 10, 11, somewhere in there. But yeah, I was in the top 10 in the state.
Wow.
And then I was just like, yeah, I'm done.
What kind of, so I know there's different kinds, right? So there's like tumbling, there's like acrobatic, like what kind of stuff were you into?
Yeah, no, I was in like actual USAA like gymnastics, like
Wow.
would have went to Olympics had I continued
Okay.
competitive.
And there was never sort of a second guess or a struggle there, like which one is my true love type of thing or what?
Well, I think
Because that's a lot of dedication. If you got to that
Oh,
level,
yeah.
you were serious about that too.
definitely, yeah, it was like practice every day and then,
Watch what you eat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All of
like,
it. All
even
of it.
off the practice, everything. It's like a dedication. Right?
Completely. I was so young at that time. That's really when music was still just something fun. Like when I was like 4 or 5, like I would write little songs, like little songs or whatever. But it wasn't really serious yet. It was just kind of something I did for fun in my off time. And then when I stopped doing gymnastics, I actually got into dance and then I got into music. So it's kind of a little transition before music, but
Okay, cool. You have any shows or anything coming up in case people want to check you out anytime soon or what?
not just yet, but stay tuned. Stay tuned. I do have some things. We're in the works. We're talking it up and getting it all straightened out right now. So really soon, I should have some announcements.
Cool. Have you ever gone to like South by or anything like that?
I'm going.
You're going this year?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
I'm so excited.
That's super exciting.
So
Because so many
excited.
people have popped off by going to South by and doing some random show, right?
Mhm. Yes, there's
So
so
tell me
much
about that.
opportunity. Yes, I'm so excited. I've never gotten to go. I've wanted to go for a long time, but never
Mm-hmm.
gotten to. So I'm super excited. Yeah, so we're getting the shows together right now. We're working on just kind of like getting the game plan because I know there's like so much going on, and so
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't say I'm overwhelmed, but I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, but it's going back to like what you were talking about earlier. You never know who's going to be in that
Right,
audience.
right.
So
And
you
that's
got to
the big
be on the top of your game when you go there.
Most definitely. Yes. We're getting I'm about to start getting, the practices. We're getting everything together. Like, because when I go, it's going to be 100%
On
like,
point.
yes,
Yeah.
that's important to me. Like, always being ready to go. That's important.
One of the things I noticed about you too is that you take sort of like your fashion and the way you present yourself very serious too, right? So a lot of people may not think about that, but being an artist also has to do with the way you present yourself, right?
Definitely.
And your image. So tell me a little bit about that and, sort of like how do you go about branding yourself and even fashion, dressing yourself, all that.
Yeah. I think, and I talk about this sometimes too, but as a female artist, there's definitely an image that people expect
they try to box you, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to be this sexy.
This is what you
like,
do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you're not gonna make it if you don't. And so I think I really try to like walk the line. I don't do anything that I don't want to do. Like I make that very important. So when I say like as far as signing, there are certain stipulations I have. That's one of them. Like I will never not be comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
if you get an A&R and they're like, hey, you got to change your image, you got to do this, you're like,
then I guess it's not gonna work
It's
out.
not gonna work.
It's not gonna work because
Yeah.
that's one of the things about me being me. That's how my music and everything comes to be, is because right now I'm being authentically myself. You change that, you change everything. So no, like I just make sure that I am, I wear what I want to wear. Like, so yeah, there's days where you're going to see me super dressed up, crop top and shorts and heels and whatever and makeup and everything. And then the next day I'm in a hoodie. And, yeah, a hoodie and ripped jeans and whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Get you a girl that can do both, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Cool. All right. Pie in the Sky. You can collab with anybody. Who's it going to be? Who are you going to hop on the track with?
Man, that's so like, that's so hard.
I can give you top 5 if it's too
Top
hard.
5. Okay. We could do 5. We could do 5.
All right.
So let's see. Who.
You mentioned Lil Wayne. I don't know if that's changed over the years.
I
but
know because, and he is one of my tops for sure. Definitely J. Cole, just because I feel like we could do something dope.
That would be
like,
dope, yeah.
Something super, super dope.
And he would meet you
Nicki.
right there on the lyrical side.
You know what
right?
I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I feel like it would just be such a dope, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Nicki. I just feel like, I mean,
Vibes.
obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not? I mean, she's one of my biggest influences as a rapper. So, of course. Who else? Man, Kid Cudi. Like,
Okay.
Kid Cudi is one of my favorite artists. Like, man, I tell people all the time, like, he really did save my life at a point. So, yeah, that would be, like, epic. Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne, I
Yeah.
mean. And then, the last one is so hard.
Anybody maybe coming up or anybody that's sort of like,
Man, I love Lola Brooke right now.
okay. All right.
Lola Brooke is so dope to me.
Okay.
Like every time I
Maybe,
see
I don't
her,
know.
look,
Yeah.
girl, come on,
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it. Look, because
Yeah.
we can make this pop. We can make this pop. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I love Lola Brooke. It's so hard to pick because
Yeah.
like there's so many. I mean, I could go on for days.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Russ? You know, Russ always talks about being independent and doing your own thing. And even like, hey, don't buy the chains, don't buy the car, go buy a house.
Yeah.
You know, keep your publishing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a Russ fan or not, but I kind of dig what he's doing because he kind of does a little bit different than most. You know, sometimes hip hop can be a lot of braggadocious, look at me, look at my car, all this sort of thing, right?
Right. No, and I definitely agree. I somewhat follow him musically, but I do see a lot of his interviews because, like I said, I'm like super. I study music like like I'm getting a degree for it or something. I don't know.
That's awesome.
So I do see a lot of his interviews and a lot of things that he talks about, and I think it's actually such good advice. I think the best thing that you can do is set yourself up long term, especially with something that could potentially be short term, because the truth is you don't know. I mean, no one knows when they pop how long it's going to last. So why not set yourself up long term? And you know what I mean? Like, just be smart about it. I mean, the chains and things, it's okay to spoil yourself and do little things for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But just make sure on the back end, like, you know, things are taken care of.
Yeah. If we could rewind time and sort of like go to a younger self, like what would you tell your younger self? So maybe some advice that you've learned.
Trust the process. I think there was a lot of times I just felt like, should I be doing this? Maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I'm, you know, all of these things.
Yeah.
And I think if I could have used that energy and been working and been practicing and been growing, then, I mean, who knows where I could be now. But at the same time, I mean, I think everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. So.
Okay. So there was a point where you were like sort of second guessing and almost wanting to give up or what?
Oh, yeah. When the group broke up and I was kind of like, just like, okay, I'm by myself. What do I do? And it was like, I couldn't write for nothing. Like I couldn't write. It was horrible. It was horrible. The stuff I was writing. I was like, this cannot be the same brain.
Yeah.
Like, and so I was like, dang, maybe I lost it. Like maybe it was only when I was in the group, or maybe I did need other people, you know, and that's when I took that hiatus. It was like a year and some change that I just didn't write anything, or when I did, it was just like, so I just kind of threw it away.
I think you just weren't inspired at the time, right? Like you
so
got to be inspired. You can't really,
Right.
that creative process has to happen naturally, right?
Right, exactly. And I think I was trying to figure out my voice and what did I want to say and who did I want to be. Like I said, I knew who I was in the group, but who am I now and how do I translate that? And it was a process figuring all of that out.
You're definitely studying independently, right? But is there anybody that you're working with to get some of that advice and maybe avoid some of those pitfalls?
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, that's probably the best way, right?
That's true, though. I mean, I think it would be super dope. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I love to learn. So I'm always down for that. But I think right now it's just kind of me. Of course, I have my managers, so we bounce things off each other a lot. And I have friends who are in the music industry, so I can bounce off of them. But as far as a mentor per se, it's really just me and my past mistakes and learning from them and, you know, planning for the future and making it better.
Yeah. We were talking about sort of the projects that you've done so far. And I was asking you about, you know, Sky Season was like your EP, but then after that, it's been single. Do you think you enjoy the single sort of like media outlet first? Like you want to do that, you know, more often, sooner? Or do you think that down the road, you're going to work on an EP or album, more of like a whole project sort of thing?
Yes, I'm working on a project. I am. I think it will be an EP just because I think I would like to reintroduce myself. So leaning definitely more towards EP, but it is like it's in the works. It's coming. It's coming. I promise. It's coming. It's a process. And I think like with social media and things, people don't realize how much more that puts on an artist, because now not only can you just be an artist, you have to be a marketer and you have to be an advertiser and you have to be a promoter and you have like you're wearing all the hats.
Definitely.
And so you can't just kind of drop music like that anymore. Like it has to be intentional and everything has to serve a purpose if you want it to grow and if you want it to get somewhere. So I am working on a project. It is coming soon. It's really just got to be the right time.
Okay.
But once it's that time,
It's a go.
It's a
right?
go.
Okay. Tell me about social media, and I don't know if you've been affected by sort of the bad side, right? We talked about the positive. You can get exposure. You can like get your audience. You can have some collabs there. There's so many things that can spin out of that, right? But then there's also the hating and the people that don't believe in you and all this. I don't know if you've experienced any of that.
Not too much. Mainly a lot of the things are like stupid stuff.
Okay.
Like maybe things I'm wearing or, things like that. It's not too often, but it can happen. And I mean, that's really where it comes to like, you just have to be confident in yourself. Like, you got to know what you're doing and trust what you're doing. And as long as you feel good and you feel confident, I really don't care who has what to say about whatever. I'm going to do me at the end of the day. So that's really the main thing. But that bad side of social media is there. If you're not careful, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah. And everybody's posting their highlights.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever posting like,
Right.
all the lows and stuff that everybody goes through, right? Because everybody can't be fancy dinners, fancy cars, 24/7 all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. And that's something too as an artist. Like I want to be real. Like I just want to be real. Like you said, we don't have too many artists that are just honest, like genuinely honest.
What else are you doing, planning for 2023? What else you got out there? I don't know if you can tell us about anything that's, you're working on, your goals maybe.
Yeah.
What are we after in 2023?
So let's see, what can I talk about? Because we have a lot of videos, a lot of music, a lot of traveling. So my fans out of state, I'm going to be seeing y'all soon. This is like my year of growth. It's really just planting the seeds. So then next year it can just all come to fruition completely as a whole. So it's, like videos and music and just really, really trying to get my name out there, build that fan base, make it solid. I'm really hoping to like do some, like in a perfect world, you know what I'm saying? We'd be on the like carpet for BET Awards 2023, double XL, but you know what I'm saying?
Let's put it out there. Speak it into existence.
Right,
so let's put it out there for sure.
Yes, definitely. But if not next year, then it's definitely happening next year.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Have you had anything sort of a viral moment that's gone down, or maybe somebody that you admire comment on a post or give you a follow, anything like that?
I have like every once in a while I get like, y'all get a like or a follow from like people. I'll be like, oh, this person just did this.
They know about me.
Oh my God. Like, look at this. And then like Finito, that song, it was kind of random how it happened, but it got picked up on a playlist. And so it ended up getting, right now it's like almost 20,000 streams.
Oh, wow.
Which like for that to be my first song that I just
That's dope.
did. Yeah. Like, and so that's like, I think that's another reason why it's my favorite, just because like it really showed myself like I could do this. So it's like, just like there's I think that's one of the fun things about being an artist. You just never know.
Yeah.
So many things happen.
Have you ever performed with a band, or is it always when you do your shows you're with a DJ, or how do you prefer to do your live shows?
Yeah, typically with a DJ, I think it would be dope to do with a band. Like, I love the vibe that a live band gives.
Yeah. Have you seen like tiny concerts on YouTube?
Yes.
And how it's like a whole different vibe, same song, right?
But like you said, it's a whole different vibe, and it's so authentic, and the vibe is just authentic. And so I think it would be super dope to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head, knowing your musical influences and what you were into with the live band, you can explore that and sort of redo some of your tracks and then put in some elements of like rock, emo, all the stuff we've been talking about, and change it up.
Just turn it all into, ooh,
right?
Okay, you're onto something.
All right.
You're onto something.
There we go. Whenever it blows up, you'd be, hey, credit to DJ Maverick. We were talking about it.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, that's really cool. I mean, like I said, I really enjoy your stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was in the music industry, everybody that's sort of like trying to go viral. They're trying to like do all this stuff. It happens super fast, but the substance isn't there, right? And tell me about like, what are you doing to avoid some of that, right? Like not getting into like, oh, I want to do this because it's trendy, or I want to do this because I'm going to get some more followers. Like, what do? Do you just not pay attention to the numbers?
I'm making music that I enjoy. Like, I'm not allowing it. Let me not lie. I try to not
It's
allow.
hard.
It
Yeah.
is. So I try not to allow myself to get in that mindset of I need to make a hit or I need something to go viral. I just make the music that I like, and if it does, then it does, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. I really, really like been working with myself about trusting the process, and just, everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, or else it wouldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, make the music that I like, and hopefully other people like it. And if they don't, oh well, because at the end of the day, I'll have a bunch of music that I like. So
Yeah. Do you have sort of a lot of lyrics or raw songs that are archived that you haven't published yet?
Oh yeah.
I always hear about that where artists are like, hey, I've got so much stuff in the bank.
Yes.
And I just haven't released it, right? So you kind of have the same way, like a lot of projects that you haven't published?
Oh yeah. That was like one of my really big things. So like I said, my parents, Prince, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that my parents would like tell me about him is he had a ton of music like that. And I always thought that was just like really, really dope, because then you can, like, I hear a lot of artists talk about how there's so much pressure all the time to make, whatever, especially like if you blow up, then it's like, oh, well, where's your next hit, like, and all that.
Right.
But if you just have an archive, you never have that stress. You can literally continue to make the music that you want to make in your own time. And you know what I'm saying? I think it makes it a little bit more enjoyable. So I took, like I said, I didn't do music for a year. Then there was a whole year where I literally was just in the studio recording.
Oh, wow.
Like, I didn't drop anything. I was just recording. And so I probably have like 3 projects at the very least that just got scrapped, and then a ton of just singles that I just record, and then, maybe they'll come out later, maybe they won't, I don't know. And then I experiment a lot too. So I have pop stuff, I have electronic stuff. Yeah, like I have a ton. Like Sky Season was very heavily like electronically influenced, because that was like what I was listening to a lot during that time. So so like I love doing things like that.
So you've explored like singing and stuff like that too? Can you sing or what? Yeah.
No, I mean, I can sing. I can't sing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
but a lot of people that are singers can't sing nowadays,
and that's true. That is true. I mean, I do have songs, and they're dope, like singing songs that I do plan to like put out maybe on a project and things like that. That do come out dope. I mean, the great thing is nowadays in musical technology, we have all of these amazing auto tunes and microphones and all these things that could just make you sound like Beyonce.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not expensive to recut, right?
At all,
Because if you think about some of the bands back in the day, like they were actually recording on tape, and if like you messed up, that's gonna cost studio time. That's gonna cost like you gotta buy new tape. It's expensive.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's another thing too. I mean, I think there's pros and cons with being in this current musical age, but that's definitely one of them. Like just the access to technology that we have, and how you really do kind of have a creative freedom that you couldn't have then, I think.
Yeah. We are getting the mark here that we hit our time limit. So
oh, no.
we're definitely going to have you back, because I feel like we're just kind of scratching the surface on everything.
Yes.
It always flies by.
I know. I'm like, dang, where'd it go?
For the people out there that are interested in your stuff, where can they follow you? Plug in your social.
Yes.
Where can they find your music videos? Give us all the things, all the Skai Hye. Where can they find you?
Yes. So you can find me on all streaming platforms and social media platforms under Skai Hye. I spell it different. It's SKAIHYE. That's everywhere.
And that's
everything.
Everywhere.
Yep. You're going to find me under that name.
Cool. So we're talking TikTok. We're talking Instagram.
TikTok,
YouTube.
Instagram.
Everything.
Yep. All of the above. All of the above.
Cool.
Y'all go follow me on TikTok, because I'm like 7 followers away from 1,000. So you know what I'm saying? Help me out, and then I can go live. So
yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, I just want to tell the listeners, the viewers, don't sleep on Skai Hye, because I think you got huge potential. You're already killing it, so keep it up.
Thank
I wish you
you.
continued success, and I want to thank you for carving up some time. I know you're super
Yes.
busy, so
Oh, no worries.
coming here to my little podcast, I definitely appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I definitely got to come back.
Awesome. The door's always open. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The super talented Skai Hye on the Maverick podcast. Keep grinding, because in dreams we trust.